Okay. So, I know it is kind of early for this, but once again, vlogs have my mind running. So, this video is about vlogs I see a lot in the emo scene, punk, that type of community. A lot of the time, I see these vlogs made by people that are basically trying to ask, okay, how do I make this thing do this, achieve this look, without having to go out to Hot Topic and buy it, or go out to whatever and buy it, because they don't want to spend money for one reason or another. Sometimes they're hard on cash, sometimes they just don't want to buy stuff, sometimes if they're really punk, they do not want to consume anything. And on those blogs, I see the most pointless comments of all time. Like, the entire thing that the blog is saying, the blog is trying to find a solution to spending money that does not involve spending money, and I see so many comments where people are like, oh, just buy a chain at Home Depot, or buy this thing here instead, and it's like, that's not why the person made the fucking blog, okay? The person made the blog so they don't have to spend money. Telling them to spend money somewhere else doesn't help. So, I am making this video to give my own advice to those people about one specific thing, and that is chains. Can't go wrong with chains. It's really hard to go wrong with chains. So, here is how you can make a chain at home with things around your house without having to spend money. Okay. Now, this is something that all of you have. You might not know you have it. It might just be sitting in a drawer for 5 years, but you have it. Trust me, you have it. And that is paper clips. Everyone has them. If you have never bought them in your entire life, well, I'm sorry, but they just appeared via magic inside of your desk, okay? Everyone has them. I have yet to meet a single human who has never owned a paperclip. If you have just one single paperclip, then the only thing that I have to say is, what the fuck is wrong with you? But whatever. You all have them. And they are one of the easiest things to use for making chains. Now, this next step is something, well, this is a tool that achieves a job, but you can use a lot of other things in its place. And I like to use wire cutters that, have the little cut zone, and then they have the little grab zone. But you don't have to use wire cutters with it. You can use a pair of scissors even if you want. You won't be able to cut the paper clips, but you will be able to bend them. So here's the whole process. You get, depending on how big of a chain you want, you might have 15 paper clips, you might have 20, 25, 30, whatever. That is your choice to make. It might be limited on how many paper clips you have, but that is your choice to make. And basically you just straighten them all out, and then coil them all up into little circles. Now, this is where having a wire cutter is pretty useful, because sometimes it doesn't coil into a perfect circle. Sometimes there's this little straight zone of the paperclip that you cannot for the life of you bend, no matter how hard you fucking try. And it's easy to just snip that off, but it's not game over if you don't have wire cutters. As long as you have a thing to bend them, you're good. And if you have thin enough clips, you don't even need a bending tool. You can just do it with your hands fine, you know. But if you have the bigger ones, then unless you want your hands to strain at the fucking end of that, then use a tool. So the way I see it is, all chains are just fancy circles. Look at this. It's just a circle and a circle and a circle and a circle. Again, they're fancy. They cost more money, but that's what they are. They're circles. So that is what you do with the paper clips. You just loop them around each other, one after another, after another, after another, to whatever length you want. And then you basically have a chain. But this is the next step that could probably be a little bit difficult, is where do you plan on attaching this chain? Well, if you have like a small one you want to put on boots or whatever, sometimes, I'll fucking show you. Sometimes boots will have like these little things right here. You see those? Those are perfect. You can just wrap one of the clips around that, either loop here or loop all the way around to that. It's up to you. If your boots don't have that, I'm sorry, I don't have advice for that, but I have advice if you want to put them, if you want to put your homemade chain on like jeans or whatever, you know. So I'm very lucky, again, to have, where is it? One of these. These are perfect. These things clip on the belts easy. You just put one of your loops around that, and you can just clip it to any belt. If you really want, you could clip it to the shirt, but that looks a little bit weird. But, you know. But this is the best thing to have of all. Clamps like this. You see this? If you have this, if you have one of these laying around, or if you have an old necklace or an old bracelet, and you take one of these off of it, these are lifesavers. Because with one of these, a chain can go anywhere. It could go on a belt. You could probably find a way to get it on a boot. It could go on pants themselves. You can put this anywhere if you have one of these. Now, I know this might be the hardest part, because sometimes, you know, a necklace or a bracelet is not going to have big enough ones. It's going to be like super small, but that is the only part of this advice that maybe you won't have. But then again, like, you should. And if you personally don't, you can just ask someone, hey, you have an old necklace you don't wear anymore, and just like ask that, and then if they have one and they give it to you, just take those little clamps off, put those onto your paperclip chain loop, and you're good. You just got a chain without spending any money at Hot Topic or apparently Home Depot too. So I guess that's all the real advice I had. There might be a cut here and there, I'm not sure. I kind of rambled about stuff for a while. But anyway, peace. This is still the fucked up chain.